All right, welcome back, everybody, to the HVRL podcast. I am joined this evening by Mr. Sam Moses from the great state of Kansas. We got Mr. Matthew Chase from up in Chile, Maine, and we got Mr. Sean Happy Happy from the Lone Star State of Texas. I'm Mike Kufel from the Nashville, Tennessee area. Welcome in, everybody. Gentlemen, what an awesome week of racing we had last week. We know that Xfinity had a bye week, but I wanna jump in the cup. Man, I got to host that. Sam wasn't able to join the pod or the broadcast last week, so I filled in for him with Mr. Chase up there, and man, that was an exciting race.
We had battles all over the place. I mean, we sit there and we're looking in the top three at a battle for second, and then all of a sudden we look back. There's a battle for like what, eighth or ninth, and then we look back and the battle for second is now in a different state. And then we look back and there's a battle for fifth, and then there's a battle for 10th, and it was just everybody was all over each other. It was a really good race, and I think we had no cautions for cause either, if I'm not mistaken.
You're absolutely right. We just had the stage cautions, just 2 cautions for 6 laps. And it was 16 lead changes from 6 different leaders after 134 laps. Man, that was an absolute blast. Like, I thought we were going to see something entertaining. I didn't expect to that level. Because, like you were saying, I'm on my display, so I'm looking at an event that we were just talking about. And I'm like, oh, well, let me see what's in the back. Oh my gosh, man, you look over here. They're going 3 wide. Oh, this guy's in the wall. Like, what's going on? Hanneman's fighting against Bryce right now for the lead. They're going side by side. Tomlinson started working his way from the back of the field. We're watching him like, man, he's just working his way through. No matter where you looked, something exciting was going on. And an absolute blast broadcasting that race with you. It was tons of fun, and it absolutely exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, Tomlinson was what, up 10 positions, I think. I think it was something like that. So it was, yeah. I mean, he had a heck of a race, and of course we had Bryce getting the win. He was out there after the green flag pit stops. He got a big jump on everybody, so it was expected that he was going to get the win. It was really a battle for second at that point. So
yeah, and then Turnin had started in 8th, and then he fought his way back up and said he was tired of hanging out in the middle and just wanted to wake Bryce up. I think his word.
Yeah,
he was up there and just got side by side with them. Just another chapter in that epic Fontaine Kern friendly rivalry thing they got going on.
Yeah, unfortunately for Kern, I think him and C.D. Mangrum, and I believe one more, they had that speeding in the pits or unsafe pit entry or exit. I can't remember what it was, so that kind of ruined their run. But I would like to see Will there at the end, see what he could have had for Bryce.
Yeah, that's kind of one of these things with these mile-and-a-half tracks is you have to be super careful on pit entry, and it's pretty easy to get screwed up and go in too fast. Las Vegas is probably the worst one about it, but I find that mile-and-a-half tracks are that way. But that's another thing is these new next-gen Cup cars are pretty fun at mile-and-a-halfs. I think that's probably the better tracks to watch them at because they seem to be able to battle a lot better. That's what I find. That's my kind of what I. So I think this will be an exciting race tonight.
Yeah, and then so happy you were in that race. What was it like from your point of view, just seeing all that?
Man, I really wasn't. I really wasn't there. I mean, I was there.
You might have stepped away.
You're muted. You're muted, Happy.
I think you muted yourself there.
There we go. Sorry about that. No, I mean, I don't know if I was really there per se, but I showed up.
You were there.
I was having fun the first handful of laps. I mean, up to 20 laps, I was in like 5th or 6th, battling it out, keeping up with those guys. So then my tires, I went from like, what was stages? 33 laps?
34 and
34. Okay. Something like that. Yeah. Either way, I went back and watched lap 24. I was like in 5th, right? And by the time the stage came 10 laps later, I was in 14th. Heard y'all talking. Oh, he must be saving tires. I wasn't doing anything but falling back. I don't know what happened, and I spent the whole race to try to find out what I was doing wrong. It was pretty frustrating because I couldn't quite figure it out. But I think I finished with 8th, which is fine. I mean, there's a bunch of great drivers in there, so just to even to get a finish with no fast repairs and all that, I'll take. So just trying to learn and get better. These cars are
Name of the
definitely
game.
different than the truck, so
Yeah,
Right.
a little more power.
Exactly. But next week, or sorry, tonight, we're going to be at Kansas with the Cups, and I don't see anything different. I think this is going to be another action-packed. No matter where you look, something crazy is going to be going on. I think the main question is going to be: Are we going to see anything 3 wide crazy? I mean, that's not the type of truck that really facilitates that. But it's
Well,
real racy and it does fan out.
I think the most dangerous part is definitely going to be that front straight and people getting down below the white line. And that's really easy to get caught up there and not giving people room. And if they come up into you, that's a possibility to always happen. So you got to be really aware on the front straight. That's kind of one of the more dangerous parts. But I think everywhere else, it's a pretty standard 1.5 mile track. So I think it'll just be who has the better strategy, I think,
these
wise.
these guys.
What
are-
I'm
Go
I'll
ahead.
say what I'm excited for is to see the difference in race lines. Are we just going to see people wrapping the bottom, or are we going to see the multi-groove aspect of this track play and rear its ugly head? I've raced at Kansas before, and the high line running that fence is gonna be quick. Can people take advantage of that high line and make sure that they can counteract the time difference from the bottom? I don't think early on it's going to be a factor. I think late in a run it's going to be a factor, though.
Oh yeah, I mean you'll be definitely getting tight, and you'll have to move up and up farther up the track, and people are going to slow down on the bottom. So that'll be definitely interesting to see who can run there.
Hey, Happy,
What?
can I pet that dog?
Can I pet that dog? That all these guys are good. I don't think the trial or whatever that apron is going to be a big deal. Most of these guys are real good about all that. Now that wall ripping will probably come into play, and then really is it wall ripping is good and all, and it's real quick coming out, but to do that consistently and not have to tag the wall and start getting damage, you start getting a little bit too much damage added on, you're going to end up being off the pace and having some repairs to get done. So it's kind of a risk reward thing.
And also the closing distance that are going to be from the cars on the inside coming up, sliding up in front of them. We're going to have to watch out for that and see how many times people just kind of lay the bumper to them, or if they try to go for crossovers down the backstretch into the next corner. So we'll see.
It should definitely be a fun one. I haven't got to put many laps on in this week, so I only did about 20 or so, and then I really couldn't tell. I didn't mind the bottom so much, but also the top wasn't bad either. So
Yeah. Nice
and I
multi-groove
haven't-
track.
Yeah, and I haven't turned any laps there with the Cup car longer than I care to admit. What's the tire fall off looking like there? Have you guys got much seat time for Kansas?
I want to say someone who was I talking to yesterday? Don't remember. I want to say they did like a 30-lap stint. And they were like at 82% or so, somewhere around there. So I mean that's pretty decent. But I don't know what line he was running either. So
yeah, I think I like I was saying. I think early in the run you're gonna want to stay low, but then throughout the run you're gonna want to gradually get towards that top to try to just continue the momentum, and it's gonna be a lot easier to make the car turn through the high side.
it's kind of the same thing you do in trucks. So
Yep.
So it might translate. I'm not sure. I'll kind of just follow the leaders, really.
It's always a good strategy,
Yeah,
especially to learn stuff.
Oh yeah, I ain't good enough in in Cup to go off strategy and try to be a hero.
You mean like you did in the Xfinity at Charlotte?
Yeah, hey,
it almost
exactly what
worked.
I went to,
It
yeah.
almost worked.
I
I
don't know if
believed
it
in you,
would have
buddy.
worked or not.
I think you could have done something with it if that caution didn't come out.
Well, I think even if I didn't
coulda, woulda,
self-spin, I would have been in head to get the
Well.
lucky dog instead of Cornwell.
Yeah.
So, either way.
Well, what are we thinking about for this evening? You guys want to make some picks?
I feel like your mic is sounding a little bit worse than normal.
It is.
That's what Wilder's telling me.
I don't know if you're getting the sound off your actual camera, because it sounds like it's kind of further away, or if it's actually on your mic. But it's
Oh no,
normally
he's on his phone.
I am.
It almost sounds like you've got the microphone from your phone in a cup, is what it kind of sounds like.
All right, I'm gonna try something, but I'll be off cam.
Okay. He's so not off cam.
You're not off cam yet.
No, I'm still there, but once I do this, it will.
Oh, that sounds better.
I was
That
hoping
sounds
he
way
was
better.
gonna pick his nose or something.
Oh, yeah, well. Pick his nose.
That sounds fine. That's just through the phone.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a lot better.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
That sounds
when I
great.
switch to the other headset has to go to the PC, but I don't have a webcam, so
Well, there we go.
there we go then. That makes it easier for me.
Well, listening to that,
But,
guys, y'all will see the Venmo up there to donate to poor Mike and the HVRL. Maybe get him a webcam.
For a webcam, yeah.
Get Mike a mic.
Yeah.
No, get Mike a webcam.
That's it. I'm gonna do a sponsored race. Get Mike a mic 250. Maybe we'll get some
There we go.
donates in.
Mike's Mike 250. Mike and Mike. Sponsored by Mike and Ike's.
But yeah, so for Kansas, who we thinking we're looking for a winner tonight?
Kern's always a threat at Kansas. He loves Kansas. He's got a few tracks that are on the list for him for that. I'm gonna pick Kern. I can't pick against him. I know he's always saying he's always the bridesmaid, never the bride, but I think this is a good opportunity for him to be the bride. So,
I mean, I hope so for Kern, but as much as kind of Bryce dominated Xfinity and already won Texas, I mean, you can't go against Bryce really. So, but Frey and Mangrum and Mercado and
Hanneman,
yeah, I mean, dude, there's
a lot of talent in the
Yeah.
Cup Series right now.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I think there'll be a lot of races where there'll be a lot of good battles in the top 5 for sure this season.
And all it takes is one incident for Bryce to get taken out in an accident, and it's anybody's race. I mean, we saw that at Daytona. You know, we had Jose end up coming away with the victory at Daytona, and I mean that's kind of a wild card anyway. But he came away with a victory there, and Bryce was taken out of that race. I mean,
well, yeah, I mean, especially riding the wall, it just takes one mistake to hit it too hard.
Yep.
You're down. Hell, speed in the pits. We all know Bryce is a fan of speed in the pits. So is Will.
Right.
So
he did that at Charlotte in the Xfinity Series. He sped in the pits in there, and it cost him that race.
Yep. So
Chase has got Kern. Happy's got Fontaine. Sam, who you got?
Oh, if Jose Mercado shows up, I think he's definitely got a pretty good shot. But I'm gonna go with Mason Tomlinson just due to the fact that he seems to always be in the top 5, top 4. He's so consistent. So I think he's gonna have a strong showing, and I'm gonna be looking for him on the podium for sure. So I'm guessing he'll be up there.
So Mike's sitting there shaking his head. His first pick was Kern. His second pick was Bryce. His third pick was Mason. So now who are you going to pick?
Yeah, who
So
you
I
gonna...
was sitting here thinking, I was like, okay, the last 2 times I picked Kern to win, he wrecks out. So I'm thinking I'm a jinx against Kern, knowing he always talks about Kansas. So I was like, okay, this is Kern's week. If I pick him though, he's gonna get wrecked. Don't pick him. Okay, yeah. I'll go with Bryce. He had similar style of kind of tracks. I'll pick Bryce, and there goes Happy. I'm like, Mason was working his way through the field, and he had talked about if he had gotten a little bit different of a strategy, he probably could have contended for a win. All right, I'll go with him. So thanks. So yeah, I'll take the Mercado pick. I've raced with Jose in a previous league as well, and he's pretty damn fast as well, and can be aggressive and can be a little chippy as well. So I like the spunk. So yeah, I'll pick Jose to win at Kansas this evening.
Honorable mentions for me are Kevin Frey and CD Mangrum. I think those two are one to watch as well.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, they had some good battles. I know they were getting frustrated, but from an entertainment aspect, gentlemen, it was great.
Yep,
absolutely great. Yeah. All right, wanna jump into our world?
Not really.
I don't mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have set the field for the chase for the HVRL Truck Series. Whew! What an event! It had some highs, it had some lows. You wanted to laugh, you wanted to cry. I mean, it was like a great movie of our 150 lap race at Charlotte.
Oh, it was 150. I didn't know it was 150. I thought it was like 60 something.
Not for you.
No, it was like 75, I think, for me. It was great.
Yeah, no, I was trying to keep tabs, man, on where you were at, on where KT was at, and where Brad was at. Because I knew we were all the 3 or the 4 that were pretty much close together. You and I had the majority of the points, so as long as we didn't finish dead last, we were pretty safe. But I was really keeping tabs on all of us, and all of us had problems. I ended up getting caught up in some mess that happened in front of me and got a love tap from behind and creamed me into it. That ended up putting me I stayed out. I had like 2.5 minutes worth of damage. And as soon as I got back on the track, I immediately regretted not using my fast repair. Yep. My goodness, any right side damage on the truck at Charlotte was just not fun. And I know Chris felt horrible about spinning out in front of the damn field, but he had the exact same thing. He had a small amount of damage left to repair, thought he was fine. He was not fine. And unfortunately, he didn't find that out until he was right in front of the field. But I didn't want to do that since I just saw it happen to him. So as Happy was coming around, I think you were leading at that time, Hap. And then as y'all were coming around, I was like, nope, there's no way I'm going to be able to hold on to this. I'm going to go ahead and pit now and put myself 2 laps down. Fought my way back, got 1 lap back straight by racing, then got the lucky dog, and I think I ended up finishing 9th.
You got 8th or 9th. I have it pulled up here. One moment.
There you go. Yeah, so
Mike.
Pretty sure it was.
Yeah, 9th.
Sure
9th.
You were battling. I know you were battling with me in the second stage before I got taken out. So
started 17th. Did you just not have a good qualify? Did you spin or it just wasn't?
I suck at qualifying at Charlotte.
Oh, okay.
I just can't do it.
When for me, you can just take the @ anywhere off, and that's me. So
I only got 1 place or 2 places I'm decent at qualifying, and one of them is going to be on Sunday. I can super speedway qualify. That's about it. Nowhere else. But what did you guys experience?
Go ahead, Matt. This shouldn't be too long.
I got run over 3 times from people behind me, and just first 2 times. The first one was completely avoidable, and then the second one was by the same person right as we took the green flag again. So issues obviously for that person, and then we were going good until we got that caution. I want to say middle of first stage again, or end or beginning of second stage. I think that was the Chris one where he was in front of the field and spun out in front of the field, and I think a bunch of guys got caught up in that. I ended up getting tagged hard on the left-hand side by Brad Dorr, and ran into Thomas Long, and he thought I just hit him for no reason, but I was trying to avoid the wreck, and I got caught up in that. Ended up having big time damage, had to use my fast repair there, so I was already behind the 8 ball. And then third stage, after getting caught by a couple of the drivers, I got by somebody, and then I don't remember who it was, but I got tight. I caught the apron, got tight up into the truck that was above me, and somebody just drove through me on the inside. And there was a little bit of net code, but either way, I mean, that's why the comment that I made in the truck chat was, everybody needs to just have some more spatial awareness and just kind of realize that we can't win it on that lap. The only time you can win it is on the final lap of the race, and just try to be more aware of what's going on. I mean, if you see a truck go flying up the track, there's a reason they're going and flying up the track. Either they're tight, they're loose, or they're trying to chase it up the track. Just kind of be patient. Let them get it settled down, because if that had happened, there wouldn't have been an issue, and I'd have been continued racing. So
yeah,
sucks. But
as we were going over the race review, me and Chris, there's a lot of times that didn't cause a wreck, or a lot of times it did, but people pushing 3 wide, and we're like, I almost want to show the replay and get these guys on the podcast, because I want to know why are we going 3 wide there? I don't.
Especially
understand.
At Charlotte, good grief.
Yeah,
it's like the
why?
worst place ever to take it 3 wide.
It was like lap 40, lap 80, lap 120. It don't matter. Lap car, trying to push
The only
three wide.
time it matters is the final lap of the race. If you take a 3 wide there, I get it. Or 2 laps to go, I get why you're going 3 wide at that point. You're going for positions, especially if it's for the win. I mean, I get that, but doing it on lap 70 something for 18th or 14th or whatever position it was for at that time, like it sucked to get taken out that way, because after I got into him, I think Bryce Tucker was on my outside, and I want to say it was Trey Young that went on my inside. I don't remember if it was or not, but I know there was a lot of 7s around me. That's all I remember. And and
Not
so
your lucky number.
no, it's not. 31's my lucky number. There's a reason. 9's another lucky one. But anyway, besides the point. So when I got hit from the inside, I had the 7 outside of me, and there was nothing he could do, nothing I could do, and I know I got caught by multiple other drivers. I don't know who else got caught up in that, and I apologize to anybody else who did get caught up in that if it was completely out of control for what happened to me. There was nothing I could do, and rather than sit there and complain, like, we need to keep the comms closed. That's something that has been said over and over and over again. Mike, you said it, I don't know, 15 times that night.
I never heard Mike get a little irritated, but he was there.
Yeah. So rather than getting irritated on it, I just dipped out of the session before I said something I regretted, and I waited to say anything until the next day, because that's kind of let my head cool off, because I was irritated and everything. And that's honestly, that's the moral of the story for everybody. Like, just if you get involved in something, take the night, don't say anything, talk about it the next day, because you need to let your head cool, because you're going to be talking emotionally in that situation. So just
what's going to end up happening is you're going to get a warning, and if you pipe up that has nothing to do with racing again, then Kern is going to disable your chat, and if you get a black flag for that needs to be cleared, you're not going to be able to get it done.
Speaking of Mr. Kern.
Oh yeah, look at that. Because we're just not going to, he had to disable the chat I don't know how many times.
Twice at least.
So for everybody, but we're going to start
I
selecting the ones that are chit-chatting and disable them, and if they need the black cleared, nobody's going to hear them, and they're not going to get anything cleared. So it's best to just try to keep it
to a minimum.
I'd almost like
it. Almost like to see it go to, you don't need to say anything unless you're talking to Kern. If you're going to let Kern, quote unquote, know that you're pitting in or something of that nature, or need something looked at, if you want to make a comment about it, zero need to talk to another driver.
Yeah,
Can't do that in real life.
Pitting, thank you, and other than that, just for lucky dogs that some people still don't know about. So let me explain that. Announce lucky dogs.
And when hitting in under green.
Yeah.
For truck.
Don't need to do it under yellow, just green.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's okay if they do it under yellow, I guess. I mean,
nope. Dude. That's a lot of talk.
It is a lot of talk. So, Kern, what did you see? You had the best view of all of Charlotte.
A lot of wrecks.
Did you?
Yeah, I had a blimp view, and there was tracks in the infield, tracks in the stands. We had to call choppers in to get the trucks and cars out of there. It was insane, man. Like, way too many cautions. Definitely need to clean it up a bit. I'd like to see you guys go green. I mean, I think it went green there at the end for quite a while. It was a great last, like, 30% of the race was really good.
I think the last 50 laps we had like 2 cautions. So
yeah, it was great. Like, it was great. Like, I'm like, why can't we get that for like the rest of the race? It's like, I don't know. I mean, we had somebody that was causing some issues. I had to take care of that, and then after that person was gone, we had a few more, but I feel like it cleaned up some. But I don't know, man. Like, I'd love to see some green flag racing. It's exciting up in the booth. It gives Bryce something to talk about. Gives less for me to have to deal with up in the booth on the race control. I like sitting there and watching you guys race clean instead of just 5-minute caution laps.
Well, there's so many equal drivers in there. I do just want to see some of these races play out, because it'd be some real good racing amongst the top 15 drivers.
I would say it would be too. I mean, you guys are getting consistent, 30 to 38 drivers up in there, and to see a lot of green flag laps, it would really spread the field out, but it would be fantastic racing. It's not just up front either. I mean, you got good racing going on back for 30th position, which is insane.
Or even just in the mid pack. I mean, everywhere there's good racing to be had throughout the field. It's just a matter of being able to get those green flag runs in order to get that good racing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You guys are into the playoffs now, so we're halfway through the season, and I feel like everybody just needs more patience. There's a lot of people trying to take it 3 wide on lap 1, or even before the first stage is done. It's just take it easy, calm down, relax. There's a long race to go. Nobody likes sitting there, for more than half the race under caution, and it'd go by a lot quicker, and everybody have a lot more fun if there was a lot more patience on the track.
Yeah, it's.
sure.
I said in chat, I feel like a lot of people. Not every track is going to be a good track for you. I have bad tracks. I have good tracks, and sometimes I know I'm like a 12th place car. Stop trying to go for a top 3 when you're a 12th place car. Just
For
I
sure.
mean, everybody wants to win and all that. You can always push a little bit and try to get spots. But if you don't have the pace. It's like me going in Cup, knowing where I am in Cup. Am I just going to bowl through the top 5 because I'm close to them and take everybody out and push it 3 wide? Like, why? I'm not at this stage of my skill level going to compete with the Cup guys in the top 3. Maybe I might get lucky once, but there's no sense pushing to make spots up more than your skill level.
I felt like I had probably a borderline top 10 truck, and I showed that pace and then got removed from the race for that. So for a mistake, and unfortunately that'll happen. So.
Oh yeah, but other than that, Meacham pulled away with the win. I thought it was a great finish.
Oh, it was awesome.
So good. I was able to pull away there with a couple laps left. And I thought I had it when Cornwell was dropping back. And then he started fighting with George and Meacham with like 3 laps left. I was like,
and then they bolted to you.
I was like, oh yeah, I got it. But I raced so hard keeping him off of me those 20 laps before that. I kind of burnt him up more than I wanted to, because I normally took it easy the first couple laps, and then he had me pushing real hard, and they just caught me so quick. And the white flag, I was just trying to fight him off. George gave me a little bump in the straightaway. I carried a little too much speed in the corner, and then I drifted up, and I wasn't able to slam the door on Meacham, and then that's all there was to it. He had the best tires there at the end, so. Definitely a good win for him. I was like seeing him back up there. What did he win, the first race of the season and then the last race of the regular season?
Yep. He bookended it real good.
Exactly. That's a new nickname, the bookend. But yeah, no, it was exciting, especially to see that play out the way that it did to close out the regular season, and thus we have a regular season champion.
Oh, yay.
Yes, Mr. Sean Happy over there. So congrats to you, bud. I mean, it's been an awesome season thus far, and proud of your achievements there. It's been a blast this season, and it's exceeded my expectations, and I already had some higher expectations. Yes, we said we're not going to talk about the fairgrounds race ever again, so we're not going to do that. But other than that, it's been I think fewer cautions than I expected throughout the course of the year. We still have a lot, do not get me wrong, but I still think there could be a lot more, which nobody ever wants to see. So I'm encouraged by the progression that we're seeing through everybody right now, which is what we're looking for, right? We all want to see everybody get better. That way we can have cleaner races and guys can get moved up through this whole entire league and everything, move to Xfinity, move to Cup, and just have great racing all the way around is what we're trying to achieve. So that being said, who do you guys think has been the most improved driver in the truck series from Daytona to what we just experienced at Charlotte? Anybody?
Bryce Tucker.
Yeah, I would
So,
either say,
yeah.
man, I have a few.
So I went through and I was looking at Bryce Tucker's because that's who I was going to suggest for this as well when I hopped onto it. But Bryce has actually been pretty consistent from the beginning. Yes, he's a road course ace, but he didn't have as bad as finishes on ovals as I thought I was going to see when I pulled up the statistics.
Yeah.
And I don't want to seem like a homer for who I'm going to nominate for it, but my teammate Chris
Camburn.
Weiniger. I'm looking through
yeah.
where Chris started at in the season and to where we've been. Yeah, the Charlotte did not treat him well, either turning left or right. But other than that, like you could see the progression, of having a 20th finish, 17th, 28th, 13th, 12th, 10th, 4th, 9th, got wrecked at Texas, 19th, and then came back at that crappy fairgrounds, finished 4th there. You could actually see a steady progression with him. So that Chris would be my nomination for most improved throughout the regular season.
That is
Yeah, that's a
never a
good
bad
choice.
one. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just encouraging to see it. And the other person I was thinking about, which the numbers did kind of show, but it had some good improvement also, was Patrick. Showed a lot of progression, and not just for this season though, but happy for yourself between last year and this year. Man, hats off and a round of applause to you, bud. You have by far shown a lot of improvement, and it's extremely encouraging. I'm optimistic for what I can do next year.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. There's just something to just doing your best to stay clean. So, I just think that's my specialty is all. I don't think I'm ever really the fastest on the track. It's just, I think I do pretty well at just not putting myself in horrible situations most of the time. Not all the time, but I do that. I don't self-sabotage too much. So, and that's pretty key at staying consistent.
Again, my strategy is working.
So
He doesn't feel threatened. Excellent.
But I would also say probably Camburn because I really didn't think too much of him in the beginning. Not that he didn't show anything. It's just that. But now, anytime I see him next to me, I'm like, oh, okay, we're about to have a battle here. So I think he improved a lot.
There you go.
But same as Tucker too, coming from the road, his first oval series, really only raced a couple oval races before he joined this league. So he has a promise for next season as well.
Yeah. Matt, Sam, what you guys got?
I was kind of looking at the numbers a little bit, and somebody that I wanted to mention was Kendon Cook. There was a stretch there in the middle part of the season where he really turned it on, and I think he had a top 5 at Dover. I think that was where the top 5 was for him, and he had a really good stretch there in the middle part of the season. He's kind of been on the wrong end of some stuff in the last few races and kind of fallen down the standings a little bit, but yeah, Kendon Cook was kind of a shout out for me.
There you go.
I mean, he did end up finishing like 19th and all. So
yeah,
not bad at all. I do want to shout out that that Brad Dorr was able to beat out KT. It was really just who can outlast who with those two going into Charlotte.
Right.
So, but I think
was it 1 point?
Yep.
Is that what it boiled down to?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean,
Pretty crazy.
It was just so much fun there at the end. I mean, it was a lot of pressure, but it was exciting. So even to the point where we obviously Bryce's lovely wife had her birthday, so hopefully Bryce did something real nice for her. So we didn't have the overview of the broadcast, but like I had family kind of on pins and needles because I've been talking it up all week. And first and foremost, I'm just trying to promote the league, even if it's within my own household and family members. But I'm just trying to get them like, look, this is going to be exciting. We're super close to this line. Why don't you guys tune in, see if I get eliminated and I'm going to be pissy next week, or if I'm going to make it in, and then everything's all good. So I came downstairs, and which is funny because my daughter picks up on a lot more of the sounds that come from upstairs than the rest of than my wife or my son. So I came downstairs and she's like, "I heard you getting a wreck," because she knows the feedback from the wheel. She was like, "Did you get wrecked out? Was it too early? Did you make it?" And I was like, "Guys, yeah, I got wrecked. I went 2 laps down. It was rough." And they were like, "Oh no, we're sorry." And I was like, "But I worked my way back, baby. Daddy's in." And it was awesome just to share that emotion with them, and it was just very exciting, towards the cut line. So I hate it for KT, getting a W in the week and missing it by a point, but it's why we run the races, right?
I don't know if people just realized. I don't know if we'll have another points race this close. How close me and Cornwell were. I mean, to each other. I mean, 5 points, and he could not win the race because it's a 5-point difference. And if we tied, he was going to get it because he had more wins than I had. I mean, and we were around each other the whole race. So it was close, and it came down to, I mean, like the last 3 or 4 laps, really. The whole season just came down to those last couple laps. So it was exciting all the way from 12th just to get into the playoffs to the top. So it was real fun, minus all those cautions.
I honestly think the two of you burned your stuff up trying to keep each other out of the lead. And that's why you had a different race winner than the two of you, because you guys were up there all race. I mean, there wasn't a time. Only I think one time I saw Cornwell come to the middle portion of the pack when I was still racing, and he worked his way right back to the front. So
he did work his way up quick. And Eugene Hawk, he led 100 laps. I mean, 80% of it may have been under caution.
Right.
But he was fast. He was hard to pass for about 15 laps till his tires started falling off. And I was trying to get my point to lead a lap, and he was fighting me the whole time. I could not do it. So I finally ended up doing it, but it took me a good, I don't even know, probably like 40 or 50 laps before I even was able to lead a lap. So it was good stuff.
Definitely led a lot of them. It was so I'm excited to see what happens throughout the chase. And I'm extremely excited for Sunday. How you guys feeling about Sunday? Y'all dreading it? Are y'all as excited as I am?
For Talladega?
Talladega, baby.
I'm just gonna be chilling at the rear, so I'll see you back there if you're back there.
I expect that to be a very dangerous place to be.
I expect everywhere. I think everywhere is a dangerous place to be. Let's be honest. Super speedway racing everywhere is dangerous.
Yeah, super speedway racing, exactly. I mean, honestly, anybody can win that race. Just got to put yourself in the position at that point. I mean, last place finish, last place qualifying guys. Somebody that's on the IPL list could come out with a win on this one. I personally, that's why I hate and like super speedway at the same time, man. It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah,
I love them.
Definitely a lot to that.
Yeah, we know you love them, Bryce. We know you love them.
Yeah. I got another one last night, so maybe that's why I feel a little bit more chipper about it. But
there you go. Yeah, no, I encourage any of the Truck Series guys that are listening or tuning in, just by all means, please get some seat time for Dega. It can be such a great time if you're patient, if you lift and just give courtesy and respect to everybody around you. Don't force any issues. Like Chase was saying earlier, like we've all heard in our entire lives of being around racing, that you can't win it on the first lap or the second or the third. We got 60? Yeah, we got 60 laps, guys. So there's 59 laps that you could not win the race on, but you sure as hell can lose it.
Yeah,
just take it nice and easy.
So super speedway, a couple tricks that might help some people out too. One, which everybody should know by now: don't push the pusher. If the person's in completely different with Cup Series. When you're talking Cups, you got to push the pusher. But when you're talking Xfinity trucks, anything like that, unless you're super skilled, don't push the pusher. Let the second place car push the first place car, high line, low line, everything else. Unless you trust those two in front of you and they trust you, do not push the pusher. Me, if I was in third and I had two guys in front of me, I wouldn't push them unless I knew it was like one lap to go. Then it's all out from there. It's checkers or wreckers at that point. Two, lower your force feedback. That's probably the biggest thing that some people do. That they have their force feedback like they do any other track. The problem with that is if you get bumped from behind, your wheel's gonna yank out of your hands, or really you're gonna feel it and you're gonna get squirrely. I turn my force feedback down pretty low, not to where it's non-existent, but I turn it down to where when I get a hit, I'm not going to get all squirrely and I stay square with the guy behind me, or even, if I'm pushing the guy in front of me. Give each other room. 3 wide is very possible. It's Dega. 4 wide is possible, but 3 wide is fine. But you still need to make sure you watch the dotted lines going into the corners or the straightaways or whatever. Keep your lane. Don't drift up. Don't drift down. Guys on the bottom, get that left tire right just above that line at the bottom. Guys at the top, stay on that at dotted line at the top, and the guys in the middle just hang on. I mean, if you guys get too close, you're gonna feel it. There's gonna be a big wreck. It's Dega, man. It's super speedway. There's gonna be a big wreck no matter what you do. But I'm just hoping there's not a lot of them. I'm excited to see some good, clean racing. If anybody needs any tips on super speedway racing, get a hold of me, get a hold of Bryce, Sean, Mike. We're all really good at super speedway racing. So get a hold of us. We'll try to, give you some pointers, and hopefully we can have a good, clean first playoff race and get us maybe a playoff winner, or even non-playoff winner to win this one.
Old
Well, one
Bryce
thing I
out
think
here
it's-
giving tips so he don't have to work so hard like he did at Charlotte. Poor guy working overtime.
Well, I mean, a thing to add to that though is I feel like a lot of the issues that we see at super speedway racing, I mean, even at the quote unquote higher level that we have, is target fixation is a very, very big thing at super speedways. And what I mean by that is this: if you're the car being pushed, don't stare at your rear view. I mean, you need to look at your rear view mirror, obviously, because you got to see who's generating the run and what's coming. That's different. But I mean, if you go back and you look at the dual race between like me, Will, and Ray, for example, like our cars were like if you put the camera at the right angle, you couldn't see the car in third place. That's because we all like, and sure, part of it comes down to chemistry and trust. Like that's obviously a huge part of it, but you're not seeing us look in the rearview mirror to try to line up to the guy behind you. Do you want to be wrecked out? Absolutely not. But if you are the car being pushed, it is on the guy behind you to give you a square push.
Mm-hmm.
If you are the lead car being pushed and you are constantly looking in your rear view mirror, say the guy's a little bit offset to the left and you turn right to square up. Well, if you turn right and he turns left, so that way you guys meet in the middle, you're both going to get wrecked. You're going to have your push isn't going to be square, and you're going to get offset. You're going to lose the truck. And if you're 2 and 3 wide, there's no room to save the truck unless you're just, super talented. And I don't think really most of us are at that point. So, it's, again, you have to be aware of what's going on around you. But yeah, don't look in your mirror to try to adjust to the guy pushing you. Let him make the judgment. A trick that I was told in the trucks, every car is different. They kind of have their points. Like, for example, in the next gen car, you want to line up with a little camera on the bumper. In the trucks, what I look for is I try to have, because depending on your field of view, it's all a little bit different, but you can see the guy in front of you. You can see the driver's helmet in the cockpit. So if you can line up with the driver's helmet, like picture your head being where it's at in the truck to the person in front of you, that's going to give you a square push. 2 things to look out for in the trucks specifically. The trucks, I don't know if it's the new update. I don't know what it is, but I also did a truck race at Daytona on Tuesday. And it may not be an issue at Talladega because the corners are wider. But if you are pushing when you are going, like if you are hooked on somebody's bumper going into the corner, you are going to lose a lot of front steer when the truck loads into the corner. So be ready for that. And then the same thing can be said off the corner as well. You can push coming off the corner. That's not a problem. But if you are not square and you slide up, like even if it's just an inch when you're on the guy's bumper and those trucks are unloading, you're going to go around and you're going to cause a wreck. The biggest thing ultimately, yes, you have to be aggressive on super speedways. Yes, everything happens twice as fast as at any other track. But at the end of the day, like Mike said, you have to be there at the end to win. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with backing off a guy in a corner to save yourself from wrecking. If you guys all have the same agenda and the same goal in mind, you guys will make it to the end and the energy and the runs will be there. But if you are all second guessing your decisions and you're not square and you're not pushing, you're gonna run out of temps. You're gonna be gridlocked because you can't go anywhere because you have no temp to push the guy, and you guys are just gonna be stuck. And if a third line forms with fresh temps and they can get square, they're gonna roll by you. So that's the last thing that I'll say is, or this is the last thing, excuse me. Like Will said, if you're not comfortable pushing the pusher, don't push the pusher. But that third truck has a very, very, very important role that a lot of people at super speedways don't understand, okay? Especially in the cup car, but the trucks, honestly, they act a lot like the cup car in some aspects at the super speedways. If you are the third car in line, okay, obviously the middle guy is doing everything he can to push that truck out in front. There's going to come a point where that second truck is going to run out of temps, okay? It's your job as the third truck to stay the perfect distance behind the guy in second place to keep that bubble. Because what's going to happen is if you do this effectively, and you saw us do it in the cup races as well, that second car in line needs to push the guy in first off into the corner and let off the gas and back up to the guy in third. That's going to give you open air. That's going to clear your temps. And the guy in third is going to push the guy in second back up to the guy in first. And if you can play that right, you guys will make the fastest lap times on the track. Again, you saw it in the Cup Series. You saw us do it. It's really not that hard to do if you practice it and you get all the timings down right. Super speedway racing is by far my most favorite thing to do on the sim because it's the most absolute closest quarter racing that you're going to get, regardless of what track it is. When you've got, you guys are going to have 30 trucks in the span of 3 to 4 seconds of each other, and you're going to be 2 or 3 wide. You don't get that anywhere else. So the biggest thing is just you got to find that balance of looking in your rearview mirror to see what's going on, but don't mirror drive, and a lot of you guys will be fine.
And it's easy to tell when somebody does it.
Right. Hey, I do want to mention I did pick Meacham to win Charlotte, by the way. So I want kudos for that.
You're winning the season and the race pick.
Yeah, that's how I roll. But I ain't gonna bother asking picks for Talladega because who cares? It could be anybody. Heck, even Moser down here can win it.
Even me? Wow, how gracious of you to say. Thanks, buddy.
Even Bobby Grady can win it.
Dang.
Even Sean Happett can win it.
Even Mike Kufel can win it if he doesn't flip his truck over.
Oh, no.
Me and Turn cannot win it because we will not be there.
Can I paint the underbody?
I don't think so.
Just with a middle finger.
No, and real quick, I do want to mention one more thing because it kind of goes back to what we're talking about right now. We all know that there is some level of lottery involved in super speedways. I mean, it's part of it. But it is also on you as a driver to create your own luck and put yourself in the best position possible. That looks different for everyone else. What's like, I want to be up front, not because I want to leave laps and be the winner. I want to be up front because I, to an extent, control the race and what happens. If you're a guy, like I know Moser said, he's going to be hanging out towards the back. There's only so much you can control. If there's a wreck in front of you and it's big enough, there's nowhere to go. And if you're a guy in the middle pack, one of two things is going to happen. Well, there's a lot of things that can happen, but if they wreck in front of you, you have a huge chance of getting involved in it. If they wreck in front of you and you check up well enough and fast enough, you might have somebody behind you that doesn't check up fast enough. So you're putting yourself in the hornet's nest. So just remember, if you are going to make a move at a super speedway, it's super speedways, honestly, man, they're like a game of chess. You have to think 3 or 4 moves ahead before you make the move that you want to make. Because if you don't, it takes a split second to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and your race is done. To no fault of your own. But if you put yourself in a compromising position, you are opening the door and you're becoming susceptible to something to happen that you don't have control over, but you could have had control over the situation you were in the 2 or 1 lap prior, or hell, even half a straightaway prior. You could have been in a better spot, and you didn't. So just think about that before you make your moves. Look at who's around you. Look at where the energy is being formed. You know, how many laps left do we have before we pit if we have a green flag pit stop? If we got 3 laps before we have to pit, do I really want to risk going 3 wide and being stuck up top? It's just stuff to think about.
Right.
For sure. And
my
one thing,
oh, go
real
ahead,
quick,
Mike.
that Bryce actually told me quite some time ago that's made a big difference as well at Daytona and Talladega and Atlanta is if you elevate the height
What
a
do you
little
want,
bit
dog?
more at these
Would you go lay
tracks,
down?
it makes it a little bit easier to see through the window, especially going into the turn of the vehicle in front of you. That we
Go.
can get an idea of the
Go.
line. Just throwing that out there. If you're sitting real low, it could be a little bit dicier on entry into the turns.
Right. And then I just want to remind everybody out there, nobody has to avoid the guys with the playoff spoilers or whatever, but just be mindful that they're
Except for
racing.
me, get the hell out of my way.
Oh, well, you can
No.
take him out.
In him in particular, make sure you're blocking.
Just be mindful of it. Nobody has to move out of the way. Race just as hard. I'm just saying, just try to be mindful of it. 3 of those guys are going at it.
Yeah, good.
Other than that,
Good point.
what are y'all, since y'all, Bryce and the Wheel have jumped in here, what do y'all think about the race tonight? We kind of already went over it, but not a whole lot of insight at Kansas with the Cup cars.
I'm hoping to get a top 10 this time. Good
Yeah,
Lord. Last 2 races I've kicked butt in the first 2 stages and just completely lost everything at the end of the race. So last week was my fault for speeding in the pits. The week before that I got caught in a wreck at the end of Daytona. So a top 10 would be great, top 5 would be fantastic, but can't ask for too much more than I can get, you know?
Is there going to be a lot of wall riding in the Cups cars?
100%. I didn't feel good going into Texas. I know I mentioned that. I feel honestly maybe about the same going into Kansas. Kansas is a track that I know Will's talked about as well. I feel good at Kansas. I mean, I got my first pole ever on Kansas a year ago, which still I went back and watched it. I found it. I don't know how the hell I did it, but either way, the one thing about Kansas is this track is a whole different animal when there's other cars on the track as well. And I know that sounds like common sense, but with how dependent the aero is on these car or how dependent the aero is on this car, it's Kansas. There comes a point in the race at Kansas where there's really only one line to run. It can be multi-groove and you can make things happen, but in the Cup car especially, once we get to a certain point in the race, there is a preferred line, and that preferred line is much quicker than any other line on the track. But what gets hard about that is in this car, when everybody's running the same line, it's really hard to pass. So tires here are really going to play a factor, a lot more than what people think, and I think we'll see that tonight. But I'm looking forward to it. Again, like Will said, I'm aiming top 5. I don't have this honestly marked as a track that I think I can win. Obviously, the goal is to win. I'd be selling myself short if I said, I didn't want to win either. But if I can have a solid finish tonight and grab some solid stage points, I'll be happy with it. But I think the racing is going to be fun. Kansas is a fun track, and it's a relatively easy track, but it's also a track that can really catch you off guard if you're not paying attention. So.
Can I change my pick after I heard all that?
No, you already picked.
I don't feel like he feels confident now.
Hey, Bryce.
If you picked me, I didn't feel confident in Texas, and we saw what happened. So it's not over. I'm just saying.
Okay, I'm trying to keep my streak alive.
I got a question for you, Bryce. Does locking yourself into the playoffs change your approach a little bit?
No. And here's why. I was kind of lingering in here when you guys were talking about most improved in the trucks. My thing is this: does it give me a sense of added comfortability? Absolutely. I saw the gains that I was able to get last season with all the stage points that I got, and that was really a catalyst into what helped me win that championship, because I missed the penultimate race, and had I not had the lead that I had because of the stage points, Will probably walks away with that championship quite easily. So I know how important that is, but also at the end of the day, it's our league. This is what we do. But at the end of the day, man, I've got such a better mindset. It's just a league. I'm here to improve. I'm here to race hard. Obviously, you saw that with Will and I and Ray last week as well. But you got to put yourself in those situations. I'm not like, if I wanted to sit around and ride out back and wait to the playoffs, I could do that, but I'm not going to learn anything. I'm not. I'm here to race hard. I'm here to have fun. Of course, I'm here to win, as should everybody else that's in here, but it doesn't really change my approach. I'm still going to take the same amount of risk that I would if I wasn't. And that's it. I mean, that's what we're here to do. And again, there's only one way to learn, and that's just trial by error and doing it. So, I'm sure subconsciously there might be a decision or two that I subconsciously make that maybe I wouldn't. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm going to, attack 1,000%. I'm sure that level of comfortability is going to change the subconscious in my mind. But as far as an intentionality standpoint, I plan on racing and doing the same thing that I've done that's got me here to this point. So,
well, plus
this is
playoff
my
points.
first time to Kansas, so
with the Cup car.
ever. I've never been on Kansas before.
This guy.
Oh
Just
yeah.
hold on.
Okay.
Since you're so full of crap over there, I want you to know, Will, that the last 2 times I've picked you to win, it didn't go well for you. So I wanted to pick you for Kansas because we all know that you have a love for this place, but I didn't pick you so that way you could do well, my friend.
Who
Yeah,
did,
exactly.
who
Yeah,
did
let's
you
hope
pick?
it works out that way.
Who
So
did you
if
pick?
you don't do well, I'm sorry. Okay.
Who did you pick, Mike? I forget.
I went with Jose.
Okay, so if Jose wrecks out, then he
Then
is
you are
definitely
cursed.
yeah.
Then you
yeah.
are cursed.
Then I am
Yes.
cursed. Then
Yeah,
I will
right.
take bribes for who I will pick each week.
Or not pick.
Exactly. Like, yeah, if you want to be safe.
You can send that to the Cash App below above so that we can get Mike a mic.
Mike and Mike Voodoo Shop.
All
Yeah,
right.
there you go.
Well, I think our session's open, so I think that's gonna have to do it, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Good luck,
luck.
everybody.
Absolutely. Good luck to those racing tonight. Good luck to everybody who's moving on to the Chase and the Truck Series. Xfinity will Monday?
Yeah,
Monday,
Monday
we're at
Talladega
Talladega,
first.
yep.
Yeah.
Xfinity, yep, be at Dega as well. So thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate it for Bryce, for Will, for Master Chase, for Happy, and for Mr. Moser. We thank you guys. This is HVRL. Catch y'all